Hello, this is Kofi and welcome to Building Page Templates with Concrete 5. In this demo, I want to show you how to set up the Concrete 5 custom blog, a simple blog for your own design. Alright, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to go to my dashboard and go to Pages and Themes, and I'm going to go to Page Types, and I'm going to go to Add Page Type. And I'm going to add a couple of details here. For page type name, I'll say blog. Page type handle, I'll say blog as well. This time using a smaller lowercase b. For the default page templates, I'm going to use a right sidebar, and I have a right sidebar.php in my themes folder, which I made for my blog. And what this page really does is that that's where you get the thumbnailing or the previews of your blog entries before you click on them and go and read an actual article. So you need to think about which of your templates would actually be able to perform that action for you rightly. Launch in Composer, I'm going to say yes. And then is this page frequently added? I'll say no. Allowed page templates, selected page templates. All right. And then for page templates, I'm going to again choose the right sidebar. And then I'm going to say choose from all pages when publishing and add this. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to add another page, and this time under page type name, I will say blog entry. So this page is where the actual blog article will be, meaning that this is where the full story of the blog entry is going to be. So that's kind of what we are building here. Excuse me. For page type handle, I'll say blog underscore entry. For the default page templates, I'm going to use standard. So again, reason is that this is the main article, and that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. You can always come back and change these things later if you find that you have different preferences. Launch in Composer, I'm going to say yes. Is this page frequently added? I would say yes. Allowed page templates, selected page templates. And then page templates, I'm going to choose standard again. And then here, I'm going to say choose from pages of a certain type. And then under this, I'm going to say blog. And then add it. All right, so those are two steps. The first step was creating the blog page type, and the second one was creating the blog entry page type. Now, step 3, we are going to navigate to System and Settings. And then we're going to go to Attributes. And then we're going to go to Topics right there. All right, and then we're going to add a topic tree. So I'll click on that to add a topic tree. We're going to call this blog entries. You can see I've already done this a couple of times, which is why I'm getting the autofill. And then I'll add the topic tree. All right, so now you notice that as I added the topic tree, I see this folder here. I'm going to click on that and start adding some topics. So let me first explain what this topic tree is. These are generally going to function like tags that you can filter different posts by. So imagine you have an article, or when you visit some other blogs, you see things like filed under news or filed under events or filed under stories, whatever you want to filter through. So this is going to be up to you depending on whatever project you're working on. I'm going to add a few topics here. Excuse me. I'm just going to say cars. All right, and then I'll go back in there, add another one. Let's say food, and then I'll add another topic, and I'll just say places. Okay, so we have added a few topics which we are going to be able to filter our different blog entries through. All right, and that should complete this step for us. All right, now next we're going to have to go add this to an attribute. Okay, so we're going to go to System and Settings, and we're going to go to Attributes, and then we're going to go to Sets, which is right here. All right, under the category, I'm going to just click on the collection category. I'm going to fill in with these details. So handle is blog, and then name is blog, which the capital B, and then I'll add set. All right, then I'm going to go to, so now you see that I have an attribute called blog there. I'm going to go to pages and themes, and then I'm going to go to attributes, and we're going to add a topic attribute next. All right, so under, you scroll down the page, you see where it says add attributes. Click on that, and then go to topics. Okay, now for the handle, I'm just going to call it blog entry topics, blog underscore entry underscore topics. I believe handles cannot have spaces in Concrete 5, which is why you see most of the handles that are generated do not have any spaces in there. Okay, and for the name, I'm going to call it blog entry topics. This one can contain spaces because this is just a label for it, but the handle is actually doing something in the back end. For sets, I'm going to choose blog. So this again was a blog that we just created under system and settings. Remember, we went then we created an attribute in the previous step. So that's kind of what we are doing here. And that's what we see pop up in this place. Searchable, we'll leave it at field available in advanced search. And topic tree, so this is a topic tree that we made, and this is blog entries. I'm just going to click on the top level item for my default parent node, and I'll say add. Then in a bit. And then let's go to the fourth step. So now we go again to pages and themes. We're going to go to page types. All right, now within the blog row and the blog entry, we're going to be doing a couple of things. Okay, so I'm going to click edit form for the blog row. All right, and then here I'm just going to click on add set. Okay, and we're going to put in a couple of details here. The set name for this, I'm going to call details. I'll leave the description blank, and I'll add set. Okay. Then on the details row, I'm just going to click on this plus icon, and then I'm going to add a couple of attributes or properties in here. So on the built-in properties, I am going to choose page name. All right, and once I'm done with this, I'll explain exactly what we are doing here. And I'm going to rename this, or maybe not even on this step. I'll just leave it blank for now. I'll just leave it at page name. All right, and then I'm going to click on this plus icon again and go back to built-in properties, and I'll click on page location. Okay. All right, now for the fifth step, we're going to stay right here, and we're going to go to my page types, and then do this a similar thing on the blog entry row. So I'm just going to click on edit form, add set. All right, and we're going to call this post details, and I think the name sort of explains what that will be doing. This is a blog post, the details for the blog post. What sort of details do we want to have populated for us to fill in when we are creating a blog post? All right, so I'm going to click on the plus icon again, like we did for the previous step, and I'm going to go to built-in properties, and again I'm going to choose page name, and this time I'm going to rename the page name. Okay, I'm just going to call this entry name, All right, and this generally is going to be what the user sees when they are creating a new blog. All right, so what's the entry name for this new blog entry, or what typically you call the title of the article that you are posting or whatever you're posting. Okay, so I'll say save. I'm going to click on it again, and then I would add the public date and time attributes or property. This is another thing that we will want the user to be able to select when they are creating a blog post. And then next, I'll click on this again, and I believe on the building property, URL slug. So again, if the user wants to specify a very maybe specific URL for this blog entry, they can do that in the Concrete 5 settings. And then I'm going to click on that again, and I will go to let's see, I'm just going to select the description under built-in properties, and we're going to rename this as well to something that is a bit more meaningful, like short description. All right, so it's kind of like a summary for your blog post. And then I'll click on it again, and I'm going to go to building property and add the page location. And then I'll click on that again, and this time I'm going to go to attributes, and I'm going to look for blog entry topics. Okay, so basically those are the things that you filter by, okay, that we made in the previous steps. And then we're done with this set here. We're going to add a new set and call this set content. All right, I'll add set. And we're going to start filling with some properties as well. So under content, what I'm going to do is going to go to custom attributes, and we're going to try and add a thumbnail to this. All right, now if you don't see the thumbnail thing, like I do not see it right here, we're going to have to go create the thumbnail attributes and come back to this step. All right, so let's go do that. So to create a page thumbnail attributes, we're going to have to go to pages and themes, and we go to attributes. All right, and then we're going to choose a new attribute and say image file attributes, and we're going to give it a couple of options. So for the handle, we'll say thumbnail, and for the name, I'll say page thumbnail, and for sets, we'll say navigation and indexing. Okay, so we'll add it, and then we're going to go back to where we were before, which was the blog entry, and come now and add the thumbnail attributes, which is showing up here. Okay, so we added the page thumbnail attributes, and then lastly we're going to add the content attributes. Okay, so this is right on the block. We click on contents. This is the actual text or images or things, whatever the user decides to post. That's kind of what you're going to be seeing here. Okay, so that's done with the fifth step, and now step 6, we're going to go back to the page type page, and on the blog row we're going to do a couple of different things. Okay, so on the blog row, let's select output this time around. All right, and then we'll edit the defaults for this. So we are now coming to design our pages and specify which blocks are going to be populating which regions that we want to have populated. All right, so here's my right thumbnail, right sidebar page template, and I'm going to bring in a couple of attributes here. All right, I'm not going to be using all these editable regions. I'm just basically going to stick with the main area and empty sidebar region. So I'll click on that, and I'll add block. And the first thing that I want to do is I am going to choose a page title block, which is found under navigation. All right, so I'll click on that. I'll leave the default as is and click on add. All right, and I'm just going to click add block and add the next set of blocks. All right, so we added a page title block. Now let's add the page list block. Okay, so let's see. I think it probably may be better for me to just add it under this one. All right, let's try and see. We can always come back and shift things around. The page list block, and then we're going to specify a couple of options in here. So on the number of pages to display, I will say 10. And this really is the number of block previews you want to have on your page before you can actually navigate it to go read the main articles. All right, so that's kind of what this is doing. So how many do you want to display by default? I want to display 10 by default. On the page type, I'll select blog entry. Okay, enable other blocks to filter this page list. Let's see where that, right here. All right, enable other blocks to filter this page list. Under pagination, I'm just going to say yes. I do want it to paginate when there is more than more than 10 options on there. Okay, and then for location, I'll leave it at everywhere. Sort most recent first. We always want the most recent blog article to be populated first. And then RSS, I'm just going to say no because I am working locally and RSS requires me to have an actual absolute URL. So I'm not ready for RSS yet. I can always come and turn it on later. This is an RSS feed. I hope you know what an RSS feed is. Include page name. I'm going to say leave it at yes. Include page description. I'll leave it at yes. And then display thumbnail image. I am going to say yes. And I skip one section here. Include public page date. I'll say yes. Use different link than page name. I'll leave that at no. And then down here, message to display when no page is listed. I'll just say no blog, no post to this blog, I think. All right, and then I'll just add. Okay, so I hope you understand what that will be doing. That's just going to populate this page with previews of my blog entries. And then in the right column, I am going to add a couple of different options. So I'm going to click on that and I will add my topic list block. Where is topic list? Right there. All right, so these are basically the tags that we created, those filters that we made. And here are the options that I'm going to use. For mode, I'm going to leave it as search display, a list of all topics for use on the search sidebar. Topic tree, I'll leave it at blog entries, and then the title, I'll leave it at topics. All right, so this is currently fine as is, and I'm just going to click add. It obviously is going to need some styling, as I can see. All right, I may not be able to cover that in this demo. Let me just make sure I had all my things set. Yep, so blog entries. Yep. Okay, we're good. All right, now I'm also going to click on it again and add another block. I'm going to add a date and navigation block. Okay, and here are the options that I'm going to be using for, I would say, filter by parent page, and I'm going to eventually have to go create a block, page here, but I currently do not have one. I need to go create a blog on there, so I'll just leave it at filter by parent page. We'll come and tweak it later. And then by page type, I'll say blog entry, and then for formatting, I'll keep it as archives, and then I'll just say add. Okay, so this is going to eventually need some styling, and you'll probably be able to figure that out on your own. All right, so this is good. I'm just going to commit all that I've done, and I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and I'm going to go this time again to pages and themes, to page types, and then I'm going to go to the blog entry line and also choose output, and we're going to edit the defaults of the output page. So the output page is where your main article is actually going to be featured. Okay, so here, the first thing that we're going to add, I'm going to click add block, and I'm going to add the page title block. All right, I'll leave the defaults. Okay, then we're going to add another block, and this time we're going to add a composer control. I'm just going to say add block, and if you scroll all the way down to other, you see composer control there. And this is really just the content of the blog itself, the blog post. Okay. And then if we want, we can add a next previous nav. It's always nice to have that. It does require some styling, so if you don't like the straight out of the box styling that Concrete 5 comes with, you probably don't want to add it, but I think it's probably more usable just to add it. All right, so for next, I'm going to say next previous label with previous app. I'll delete it, leave blank so that it doesn't show. I want this set to loop navigation, and I want this chronological. Okay, and I think that should be it for this. I'll click on add, and then we're going to commit our changes here. All right, and so that's it. Really, this is all the sort of code or backend messing around that we have to do. We now can go create our page in the sitemap, and we'll see if this is working correctly. All right, so I'm going to go here, click on home, and then I'll say add page. And this page, I'll use a blog page type, and this is going to be the name of your blog. All right, so what is the name of your blog? Is it called news? Is it called events? Whatever you want to call it. Obviously, blogs don't have to be called blogs. I'm just going to call mine news, or we could even just call it articles, whatever. Let's just leave it at blog. All right, and I'll say publish page, and then under news, we can now create a blog entry and see if this is working. So let's create our first blog post. So to create a blog post, you're going to have to click on the blog page, and add page under that. And then this time you're going to choose blog entry, not blog. You know, blog was when we were creating the first level, the top level page. Now that we are creating an actual entry, we'll click on blog entry. And then let's try a few options here. So this entry name, I'll just say my first blog post, posted on November 30th, which is the day that I'm making this video. Short description, this is a short description, and it says this page will be published on the news, and so I can select all the filters I want. This is probably filed under cars or places. Let's just go with places. All right, if you want a page thumbnail, you're going to have to upload one. I'm just going to try and upload this image, which is probably way too huge, but it will still work. And then let's bring in some text. I wish I had a lot of text. We can just use this text, actually. All right, let's use this text. And we'll go here, and we'll paste it. And that will be it. I mean, if you wanted to add any other things in here, like a headline, you can add a headline and change the styling if you wanted to, all right, or if you wanted to make it something else. All right, and then we'll publish, and then I'm going to go back to go see if this is working correctly. Navigate to my news page, which currently shows up my sitemap, and so you can see this is a preview of my blog, and if I click on that, it's picking up some weird styling, which is why it's doing that. If I click on that, it brings me to this page where I will have everything being populated. All right, so this is the functionality of a blog. I would follow up with another video that shows you how to style it if you want to add some specific things, like how to make this thing look pretty. But on the technical level, it currently works. And this is all that there is to it. And you have created your first blog in Concrete 5. All right, thank you for watching.